Nothing much. How you doing?
I'm good. Do you mind if I record this as well?
Yeah. Because I did have a problem last lesson, but I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen again, regardless.
Oh yeah, all good. And if anything, I'll have like a backup here. I'm streaming
Yeah.
on Streamlabs, so I'll like
Dope.
have everything set up already.
Yep. Nice.
All right.
Yeah. So are you ready? And can you see my screen? Okay.
All right. Let me look. It's here and then. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So for my recording, what's your tag and how long you been playing?
I'm Drew6. I've been playing like maybe 9 or 10 months. At first I was like playing Falco for like a month, but then I couldn't move, and I didn't really want to spend that much time learning how to move. I wanted to just like kind of get into the game, so I started playing Puff because Puff is more concepts and neutral, and yeah, execution is really important. But if I feel like I've had my concepts down, I'll be able to go far.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's like your overall goal right now?
Okay, so for my goal for last year was to get like one really good win that I felt like really proud of, and then when I had beaten Sox, I think that was like my win. And then now my goal for this year is to like top 8 one nightclub, and I want to do that by like October.
Nice, that's doable. That's doable. So,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this matchup in particular?
Sheik is probably like the my worst matchup because I don't have that much access to it. In the nightclub, there's like maybe like 3 Sheiks at most that play a lot, and then can't really find them on Discord. They're like unicorns.
Yeah, it's Sheik and Peach players, man. They're definitely elusive creatures.
Exactly, I can't find them.
Do you need me to go over the correct stages to pick in this matchup, or are you on that?
I'm pretty sure the correct stages are Dreamland's the best, and then after Dreamland, it's like, what was it? FOD and FD, right? And the only really bad stage for us is Yoshi's.
Yeah, it's like FD is definitely way better than Fountain. Fountain's probably it's pretty close to Yoshi's in terms of being bad, but honestly, it's about preference sometimes in terms of this Sheik and how they play.
Okay.
But just like generally before I go into it, there's a misconception kind of about like how crouch works in this matchup. So both characters, if you've obviously you played this matchup, so you know this, but they both like rely on crouch a lot to actually get openings against each other, just because Sheik's crouch is really strong and Puff's crouch is really strong against Sheik in particular. So it kind of feels like when one character's in crouch, they're in advantage, which is like pretty true, but it's more so about one character being above or below the other. So the character on the bottom is usually doing better because they can get a shark. Say Puff is trying to shark Sheik with up air, then that is amazing because up air rest is just insanely busted against Sheik. But it's hard to get a setup, so when Sheik is above you, you're like, I don't even have to set up an up air. I can just get an up air for free. And then on the flip side for Sheik, if Puff is in the air, then Puff can't access any crouch setups, so they can't get crouch, like crouching the grab, or crouching like a down smash into a rest. So it's like, crouching is so important. You definitely don't crouch that much. It's about to come up, but
Yeah.
let's see.
That's like one of my main questions I wanted to ask is like when do you know that you should be crouching? Like what position do you consider advantageous? Which I guess is something to keep in mind as we watch the VOD.
Yes. So kind of like, I don't say you're doing nothing in this opener, but I do like the fact that you did take Sunner, which is good. A lot of the time Sheik will sit on the platform here, so you could actually just wave dash off the platform, turn around back air, and that's just a perfect opener against this type of Sheik, especially. What I was just saying about the above and below rule, so Sheik kind of breaks it in some ways if they're on a platform, but at the same time, Sheik is like really just trying to camp Puff by doing this, and it's like, it's only bad if you're playing the ranges incorrectly. So like, Sheik on a platform is threatening this diagonal with needles, and then if she gets the needles, she just runs off the platform, forward airs you, and then you're just gonna be either gonna get knocked down and you can check chase and do a grab or something like that, Or you get forward aired and then they like go for a forward tilt if you're still in the air and they get more damage or something like that. So that's like the whole purpose of Sheik on the platforms, is just to throw needles on the ground and try and get a fair, or just throw needles across if Puff is trying to jump in this situation in a way that can't get a fair. So that's just a racking damage thing. The main way to pressure this is what I was saying about when you're on a platform and you're directly horizontal to Sheik on a platform. It's very, very good. It's the best place to be. But Sheiks know that, and that's what I was saying about them just throwing needles across, because they're just going to try and intercept you going up here. So to deal with that is either to wave dash over here and try and get an up air, and you can only really up air Sheik if you're directly below, or you can go like over here and then try and safely jump up, or like you can even like mix up like a wave land off and then have the Sheik throw needles and then like scoop them from under here as well. So you don't have to rush things when Sheik is in this position, because you're not being like threatened by anything besides throw needle fair or just damage. And like, yes, damage is bad, but at the same time, it's not like the worst thing in the world. So yeah, you jump into the range, you don't get the perfect back air, and that's fine. If Sheik threw your needles there, you're getting forward aired. That's why you can't really jump from like right here. So you should just wave dash to the right and then just up aired. Would have been pretty good. So back. So now that you got Sheik here, and she hasn't thrown needles, a lot of the times Sheik will shield like she does. And you can't necessarily wave land onto the platform and grab, because Puff is just too slow. Well, you can technically, but Sheik should shield drop almost all the time like they do right here. So it's very easy to bait this out. Like you basically bait it out by just doing nothing here. But instead of trying to back air it, or I don't know, you might have just reacted slow and you were trying to back air on the platform. Instead of back airing right here, you could have done another back air right here instead of drifting full out. So when you play against Sheik, you don't necessarily want to be very far away from her, because like I was saying, even though damage is not the worst, you just don't want to take free damage for no reason, and that's how they get damage if you're just very far away, because you're not threatening anything in that situation. It's not like you can just camp Sheik back, because eventually you're just gonna eat needles for no reason. If you have like a sock lead though, it's not like the worst thing in the world to like just play very far away, but I still think that it's not the best. So let's say you didn't full drift out here, you went for a back air on her shield, and then since you know that Sheik is going to shield drop, or you don't even have to necessarily do the back air, like the Sheik just autopilot goes for the shield drop fair here, you could just sneak under her after doing the back air or after doing nothing, and then just do a falling up air on the bottom and just cash them doing the fair, and you just get basically a free kill if they're in like knockdown percent, which is, I think in my head, 20 from up air. So that is just perfect. Like, that is like the easiest way to get falling up air, and it's pretty much the only way that's a guaranteed falling up air in a sense. Sometimes the Sheiks will, they can like they can technically like wave dash away or like run off the platform, then like do a shield drop later, but this is so common and it will come up so much, so it's very, very easy to do.
Okay, but that's definitely not something I should be doing at 0, right? Because I feel if I up air at 0 in that scenario, then like they fall down faster than I'm out of hit lag, and then like they could just like reversal me. If
you do a fast fall falling up air, I don't think because they get popped up a little bit from the up air even at 0. So you should be able to, I don't think you're going to be able to combo directly into rest. In my head, most of the times when you get a low percent up air on most characters, it's falling up air, and then you fast fall it, and then you get an up tilt after the up air because you cannot jump into the rest, and then it'll lead to rest. You actually do that, I think, in this game too. So that you can always definitely just up tilt before they can act out of it, essentially.
Okay.
That's good. So this is fine. I'm not like... This range is very good. Keeping this distance is very good, but the problem with this is that you have to threaten grab. So, and this came up in every game. The reason why I'm going for this one, even though you actually do end up winning this game, is because a lot of situations come up. And grabbing is like so good against Sheik, because level 1 in this matchup, and most matchups with Puff in general, is that they're scared of your back air, so they're going to shield. And I know that the back air doesn't knock down here, but taking damage for no reason is just not great, especially when the Sheik expects you to do a safe back air, because they don't expect you to just full drift in here with the back air and then let you get like a let the Sheik get a free hit for no reason, essentially. So they're gonna put up their shield here so much, but the problem is, like, if you just like land behind them instead of doing the back air and then just grab, it's like really good. Or you can land in front of them and turn around grab. Either are fine. Usually against Sheik though, it's better to land behind, because Sheik's out of shield options are generally limited. Most of the time they have to either jump, roll, spot dodge. So just landing behind is pretty good in a lot of situations, and it also is good to land behind crouch too. This Sheik doesn't really crouch that much in some situations, so it's not like that important against this one in particular, but just in general. But so that range was good. You could have definitely, instead of drifting to the ground here, you should drift to the platform in most cases. Like I was saying about being above and below, it is technically bad to be above here, but being below here doesn't, like, you're in the corner, whereas when you're on the platform, you're not really in the corner in the same sense. You have mix-ups where you can waveland off the platform and then back air again, or you can just like you can wave dash here, and then she tries to jump at you, and then you can just back air, like, just jump off back air. Like, being on a platform versus being in the corner is better in almost every situation. It's good. Yeah, that was perfect. Let me see how you got that though. Yeah, the reason why back air is good, like, I don't really agree with being this high though, because the higher you are when you're like in the air against Sheik means the more time Sheik has to run under you and get a forward air, and that's when being above is terrible. That's what I was essentially saying. So you don't want to be too high. So it was fine because you're covering a jump. That's why the back air is really good, because the back air covers a jump, or it covers them just standing still, not shielding. So this is really good. Sheik runs out of the corner. This is fine. Sheik shields. Kind of get this falling up air. It's kind of a lucky one, I will say, because they should have been crouching. So it's okay. I mean, it's not like the worst falling up air in the world. Sometimes you will go for these and it'll just work. But I do like the fact that you rested. In one of the games I was looking at, you just did not click the rest. You went for like forward air or up air or something. I don't know if you were just like trying to work on punish game in a different way, but again,
no, sometimes I just don't. It doesn't compute fast enough. It's like, oh, I could get it, but then it's like, oh, well, it's too late.
I will say, like, even if you don't think you're gonna hit it, I think against Sheik you should always click it, because the worst thing that happens against Sheik is you take 20%, or like in some magical situation, you're on a side platform on Fountain, it falls and then they can get a tip rough smash or something, or it's Yoshi's, and then like they're on like the specific part of the platform where you're in the specific part of the platform that they can get a tip rough smash, and it's just like that will happen, but like it's just better to just click the rest, and that'll come up in edge guarding too. But
okay.
Okay, I don't like your forward airs from the ground. So forward air in this matchup is pretty good in some situations. It's very good to cover them jumping. So the main way to tack on damage versus Sheik is, you basically do it already, but it's about whiff punishing, or it's about reading her jumps. So you can either cover her as she's jumping before she's thrown on an aerial, or while she's falling before she's thrown on an aerial. So she does like a late fair and doesn't do like a jump all the way up and then do the fair, so early, or she does a late fair, so jump, keeps falling for a bit, and then does the fair. So there's two like different fairs. So you can either cover her before she even throws out the aerial, which is what most of your hits are, so either her jumping or her already in the air, which is what forward air kind of does. But when Sheik is on the ground like this, let me go like back to the exact situation. Sheik's just throwing out a forward tilt, so she's probably just going to shield because she thinks she's threatened here. so there's no reason to really throw out a forward air. A lot of Sheik's moves are very lagless, so punishing them has to be perfect. So the other ways to punish Sheik is to punish her directly after doing this grounded option. So when she lands, she'll do one of these, like, it's one of her mix-ups, like either down smash, forward tilt, spot dodge, or shield, because she doesn't want to jump again, because she was already scared to jump in the first place, and the fact that her jump didn't, like, actually net her anything is, like, sucks for Sheik. Like, Sheik is, like, disappointed that when she jumped in the air and risked her stock, because you could have uppered her jumping, she got nothing. So she's gonna not want to jump again and give you another opportunity to actually just hit her, because now you're gonna be most likely closer to her, like you are here. But I don't think that fair is ever really good to whiff punish Sheik's moves. It's more of a move to cover her, while, like I was saying, jumping or before she throws out the fair or the back air. It's very good though, because you can just fade away while doing it, and in the same sense the back air. I would say back air is better against, like, punishing the landing option they do after. You can also punish her landing on the ground in general after the aerial, but I think that's the hardest thing to actually whiff punish. Whereas I would just whiff punish what they do after most of the time. If you can't read them jumping or react in time, depends on, like, what the situation is. But I would just backer her, like, I would wait for her to forward tilt, and if I'm not in range to crouch cancel, I would just backer it, or I'd forward smash it. But forward smash is not really gonna work most of the time. She's on the platform again. You jump up. She could throw needles right here, so I would probably, like, wait a second, but Sheik's not really ready for it, so it's fine. I don't really know why Sheik's shield dropping, but it's okay. That was a really good shield. A lot of times they will just throw out, like, that's why, like, being far away is, like, bad, in the sense that they're just going to try and tack on damage, but you do recognize that and just put out a shield here. This is really good. See how you tried to jump in from the bottom here, like, literally in the range?
Yeah, that's a red zone.
Yeah, so that's, like, what Sheik wants. That's just, like, perfect for her. This was really good. So this will come in later in the games, and then pretty much every game. This is probably the only time I see you actually escape the corner well. I don't know why this time was different than the other times. Sometimes you can see it in the game, but I'll just gonna reinforce it by, I had a Hbox clip of him doing this literally exact same thing. I will say though that Lou could have actually reacted to you doing that full hop and probably hit you. So I would have probably been on the ground before I did the full hop backer, because, like, this is just, like, really bad reaction time by Sheik here. There's no way this forward tilt hits anything in the game pretty much after you full hopped, because when you full hop, you're basically committing to something, and you have to have space to do a full hop, and you were, like, just in the range where Sheik can react to you and kind of hit you. So that's why I think jumping first and then making it so it's an unreactable situation. But
okay,
like wave dashing first and then doing this full hop would have been better. But you got out of the corner good, and then you tried to get, like, a mix up on her dashing in with a falling Nair into, like, a grab or something like that, and that was good. Then they bring up Hbox doing literally the exact same thing, but with better timing, where the Sheik couldn't actually punish him for doing anything. I thought you would have gotten to a situation, because I know one of the games you were in a situation you could have you could have crouched. So the ways that you get a crouch against Sheik is mostly off of aerial into crouch. So you'd land with your back air, or whatever move it is, Nair, it can even be Nair, and then you just literally just buffer crouch and just click the crouch button as soon as you touch the ground, and you will always be pretty much safe against Sheik, because the only way Sheik can beat crouch is through fair and or down smash, essentially. Like, whenever crouch cancel breaks, which I'm pretty sure around 46, let me pull it up exactly just so. Pull it up. It was actually 55. In my head it was actually lower. But yeah, once 55%, then you need to start shielding, essentially, because Sheik will just click crouch cancel down smash like it's their job until you rest it a bunch. which
Yeah.
you didn't do once in these games. It's not the easiest thing in the world, especially over
I've
net
been
play.
practicing it, but yeah, it's definitely it's hard over net play, I will say.
Yeah, but the easiest way to practice it is to do the setup of aerial and the crouch. So you'll see Hungrybox do it in a second. But yeah, so aerial and the crouch, literally any aerial before 55, just do crouch. Like, it doesn't really matter what the situation is, you just click the crouch button and you're always pretty much safe. Because unless you get forward aired, that's the only time you're actually losing the crouch 100%. Space back air does beat crouch, but a lot of the times you can kind of wave dash in, or like space, or you should be spacing correctly where you're inside a threat range where you can hit Sheik and they can hit you, which is what I'm saying is you don't want to be too far away to give them free damage for no reason off needles. But yeah, Hungrybox is in the corner right here. And he's just trying to backer his way out of the corner. He notices that Sheik is in center and can react to him because he's so high up. And he's like, I gotta go back to a platform. Because he doesn't want to go down to the ground, obviously. Because when you're in the corner, Sheik wants to only do forward air. Because she doesn't want to get like... She doesn't want to run into a crouch mix-up, essentially. And you're going to be crouching a lot when you're on the ground. So she doesn't want to run into a crouch mix-up. Or she's going to grab because she's going to think that you're going to shield the forward air. Is pretty much her only two mix-ups in the corner. She's going to either forward air you or she's going to grab you. Sometimes she'll dash jack, but usually that's not really the case against most good Sheiks. So Hungrybox actually realizes that he can escape the corner now. So he just like played the waiting game essentially until Sheik gave him the opportunity to escape the corner. And he didn't like force it. He could have forced it when he was backering high here, but he decided that he was not ready to actually lead the corner yet, and he just waited until Sheik was in a bad spot and he was able to get out of the corner. And this is what I was talking about, aerial into crouch. It's literally insane. He just drills off, like, just kind of like a dumb drill, honestly.
Yeah.
But he knows that he's below 55, so down smash is knocked down. And he knows that a lot of the Sheiks are just like, I don't want to say bad, but they will do this down smash a lot here off any aerial. So you can just aerial in the crouch, especially with down air. It's very good because down air doesn't actually true combo until like 70-ish into rest against Sheik, and that's like the earliest times they'll true combo anything. But you can get these fake combos below 45, which is just aerial in the crouch with down air, and then you can just crouch cancel the down smash and just either wave dash rest, or I like jump rest more with but it's up to you. It's whatever.
Oh, you have enough time for that?
Yeah, you have enough time for it. Maybe not this one, but I actually played Lou before you did, like earlier in the week, because they were trying to work on the matchup, and I spammed that so much. I also do that against Jflex and Ben. There's pretty much no Sheiks in the world that actually don't fall privy to this. It's pretty much only Crudo. But yeah, this is very easy to do. Sometimes you can't, but in this situation, I'm almost positive you can just walk up and rest. But most of the time, that you're not even going to get this far away. I think because of the percent, it actually was very far, but Hungrybox wasn't confident in it, so he just went for a grab. And you can do that too, it doesn't really matter. But that's what I was talking about. Aerial crouch is so important. And then he should have gotten a kill off the aerial of the crouch, but yeah. Cool. So, yeah, it's just so actually insane. Also, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up in this set, and it was edge guarding. Since most of your games don't really have a great edge guard, I'll just talk about Hungrybox's good edge guard here.
Yeah. So I kind of really need to know the flow chart. So
let's see. Hungrybox gets a shield grab for no reason, but it's okay. That'll happen. He knows that Sheik is going to go to ledge here, and most of the time, Sheik does not want to land on stage, ever, so she's always going to try and jump the ledge, so Hungrybox knows this, and he's going to just call out the ledge jump with a back air, or jumping to ledge, essentially. And when you play against Sheik, it's kind of similar to Mart Edgeguard, but it's way easier. So you always want invincibility. So Hungrybox here, he's kind of just messing around. He could have like jumped out here and babysat, which is like pretty much just jumping out with Sheik, and preventing her from doing, I don't want to say an easy recovery, but preventing her from doing a recovery that lets her get to edge while you actually are on it, almost. Because if you've ever played against Sheik and you've done the get up from ledge to try and edgeguard her, and then try and punish her on stage with the wrist, and then she just goes to ledge anyways, and you're like, what the heck? That's like, if you don't babysit Sheik will probably get that every time, because it forces her to actually play smart and like expend her resources trying to even get to ledge or get on stage, and not getting it for free. Most of your edge guards were trying to like forward air her, which is good, but you have to have a read on the Sheik, and you also, I would say most of the times when you do that forward air, it's either desperation or you 100% know it's going to work. 100%. It can't be like 95%. It has to be 100%, or okay. It's just so bad. So Hungrybox here could have been off stage babysitting, because he could have Facewell can actually kind of go to ledge here while Hungrybox is still on it, but regardless, he's doing the flowchart where he's waiting for Sheik to come up a little bit more, not so that she can get the edge though. So about right here, he's gonna go to ledge. He should wave dash here, but he decides to just jump. So he actually could have maybe gotten sniped here, but it doesn't really matter. Facial goes low. So the time you actually want to get off the ledge is right when she poofs. So literally this animation. So it's kind of a timing thing, but if you just study like Sheik's frames and then just like look for this is exactly when you want to time the get up from ledge, as Hungrybox does right here, and then you cover everything. If she's far away though, but if she's very far, you can actually just sit on the ledge and then just jump jump rest, which is the best way to deal with that, because if she's too far away, then she's not going to be able to hit you with the poof. Okay. So that's the best thing to do, because sometimes if she's too far away and you try and do this edge guard, then you're going to get in a situation where she's going to be behind you, and then it's a little bit awkward to get the jump rest. Whereas in this situation, Sheik lands right in front of Hungrybox, so it's different. So he just gets the rest, and you always want to rest. Sometimes you can go for back air, like if they're on the platform, back air, because they're going to opposite tick the first back air, or they'll do it 100 times or whatever if they need to. And that's that'll happen, but I don't think it's you should by learning it, the edge guard, you have to just click the rest. So it's just making sure that she doesn't have an easy time to go to ledge. At low percent, she can grab the ledge here a lot off a back throw, so it's not guaranteed, but Hungrybox knew that he had enough time to actually get this backer out and it would work. So then you wait. You can babysit Sheik right here, which is the correct thing to do. Not in a situation where you can get forward aired, but sometimes even when you get forward aired though, you can actually just grab the ledge anyways, and it works out even better for you. So you babysit her, or you go for a hard read edge guard if you 100% know it's going to work. So you'd be babysitting her. Now you'd be starting to come back when she starts to rise up, grabbing the ledge like Hungrybox does right here. Wave dash is better here, obviously. And getting up as soon as you see the poof animation, and then rest. So
nice.
That is the entire edge guard. It looks a lot easier than it is. It takes a bit of time to actually just keep doing that over and over again to actually make it work perfectly.
Yeah, I think I just need to watch just a bunch of Sheik Puff gameplay and just look at how
yeah
over and over again.
Yeah, you can also definitely look at the actual frame data too. It's just where look at the match in slow speed and just keep looking at it. It's it gets pretty apparent if you just time it correctly every time, but it's not easy at the same time. Let's see what else. Do you do pound and neutral in this game? So I'm looking at my notes and there's some other things I wanted to talk about, because I know you wanted to talk about other stuff too, so I'm just trying to make sure I get through everything.
Oh, I gotta rest.
Yeah. So let me go back. Alright, this was a big thing. I was waiting for this exact sequence. So this is good. You punish the forward tilt perfectly. So you just waited out their option. You punish with the back air, which is the perfect thing to do. But you do this back air, which is bad because Sheik here
so close.
Should be holding down, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of the times you don't actually think about percentage wise. when you like hit like the character. I feel like I was, especially the Dreamland game, I think it was. You're very good on the knockdown, or I think it was the FD game. Like you understand like exactly like how to tech chase in a lot of ways, and I feel like I don't have to go into that, but I feel like you don't understand like percentages. You're not thinking like, oh, my backer is gonna knock down at like against Sheik, it's like 39. So I feel like you're not like recognizing that this backer here, because you're holding in, is just not safe like ever. Again, if she CCs, then it's even worse. But even if Sheik isn't crouch canceling, which she's actually not here, she was just in like lag, I guess. But she starts crouching there, so she doesn't get a true punish. But she could have hold shield there on your backer, and it would have been a high backer on shield. And then, now I'm not saying you can necessarily get 100% with punished here on a high backer on shield. You can get naired as shield sometimes, but a lot of the times you have to actually pick a defensive option. So like if you do a high backer on shield, you have to like jump the platform, and then she can kind of like start doing her platform pressure on you. Like if she has up tilt on your shield on the platform, you have no escape. So that's why being on a platform is like bad, but still better than being in the corner.
Okay.
So like essentially you just have to like think about the percents a lot more, I would say, because you're very good on the knockdown, but you can't do these kinds of like backers like endure. If it's not
I do those a lot, but I think those are mainly like execution mistakes, like lapses of judgment, where like I'm trying to do the sea bear, but it like I just don't do it. Like it just doesn't like pan out that way.
Yeah, I think
And
that
then I panic.
if you just spam a lot of like the low short hop fast fall L cancel backers, it'll help you in that spot in the matchup where it's not going to knock down yet, and it forces you to pick the correct spacing. You get the very, very low back ear. So like that's why I like that's why that backer is good in this matchup in particular, because also you're on the ground too. But it helps you like reinforce the fact that you need a space. When you're in the air, it's harder to control your drift sometimes, and you get into these situations that you're just going to start losing because Sheik isn't at the right percent, and then you just like accidentally drift in because you're just like lapse in judgment. So I would definitely just reinforce like low backers with short hops a lot of time too.
All right.
I don't like the falling up air again because it wasn't really a real setup. You didn't reinforce like grabbing. So if you reinforce grabbing as your level 1, sometimes you can do this falling up air because they don't want to get stuck in shield. A lot of the time that's what happens, but it wasn't the greatest. It's more of, I think it's more just a habit, because a lot of the times that I've seen that puffs will do back air falling up air or fair falling up air like as a default in every situation, when that's not really the case. Especially like it's just like it's a mix up. It's not really like a guaranteed win almost. Yeah, you could have rested here. It's like it was kind of a scramble situation. That's fine, but again, you were below 55, so if you're just holding down in general in that spot, it would have been pretty good, because there was really no reason for you to not hold down, pretty much. Okay, so this is what I was saying about with pound, because you use a lot of pounds, but you weren't losing a lot of pounds for this first stock, I guess. So pound the corner, bad overall, because Sheiks have played against puffs for decades, and they expect them to do these kinds of pounds coming out of the corner, because the puff is impatient and wants to get back to neutral again. Like I was saying, in the corner you can't really like force it. You have to be like really patient and get out in a smart way, and these kinds of pounds are just never going to work against like the best players. And also you don't really do a lot of rising pounds for some reason. I don't know if that's execution error or...
I never thought about that.
Yeah, in general you want to like rising pound almost every time. And also I don't think it came up in this game, but sometimes your recoveries, I'd have to pull it up at the end, but yeah, so do not do these kinds of pounds. And I would say pound and neutral against Sheik is mostly good when you are trying to beat out a late forward air. So Sheik has already jumped, and then you try and pound right before the late forward air comes out. So when she starts falling, and you're pounding right as the late forward air is going to come out. That's like basically the times you get pounding in Sheik, or she's on the ground and you're just pounding her. But the problem with that is that there's no real benefit. The risk reward, essentially, of pounding Sheik on the ground is that she's going to get hit by the pound, and she's probably just gonna tech roll all the way to the ledge or something like that, and you get stage positioning. But missing a pound means that you get forward aired for free, and then you're going to be in the air, so you're going to be landing on the ground, and you're going to get forward aired again, pretty much. Or you're going to get run up grabbed, like I was talking about, with just being in the air in general against Sheik. In this situation, you get punished. So pounds are just like not great unless it's specifically to beat late fair, pretty much. So that's what I was talking about, how you get out of the corner, but like it was just a really insane way to get out of the corner. It was like a roll spot dodge. It's just like, it's definitely like a once in a lifetime like type way to get out of the corner for sure. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the Edgeguard against Hungrybox, where Facial had enough time, didn't have enough time to grab the ledge, but in this situation, the Sheik has enough time to grab the ledge, and they do a mix-up here, where they go for the forward air to cover themselves going to ledge. So you just have to let Sheik get this a lot of the time. And sometimes when I do that forward air, this positioning was perfect for the Sheik this time, but sometimes they do it, they forward air, and they actually cannot grab the ledge, so they start falling. So if you just bait out the forward air, and then you can actually just grab ledge on their miss, like, go to ledge, because they were just trying to cover it, you know? So they were hoping you just ran out there. A lot of Sheiks do that a lot. One in particular is J-Flex. If you ever play against him, that's a very easy thing to beat. But
okay.
That's what I was talking about with that. I feel like you understand like the concepts of like the tech chasing. Like this is perfect because you don't even go for a second forward air here, which is great because you know that a lot of times Sheik will be able to get, and most characters will be able to get out of this situation. And you go for the rest here. I love it. It was perfect. But obviously, it just
didn't
missed.
Get the best
it didn't miss. Do you have wave dash notches?
No, I don't. I probably should get it.
I actually think it's fine to not have them because sometimes you need to have specific lengths of wave dash. But in this situation, it would have been best if you got the notch. But
I dream of that rest.
Yeah. You can also, I feel like a lot of times roll is easier here because Sheik is a very like low to the ground character, so a lot of the times the roll will be better than a wave dash against her in particular. You can like fall into her with the jump, whereas the wave dash you have to like peek your head up, and it's not really gonna hit sometimes. Similar to kind of Falcon is the same way. Okay, see that's what I was talking about the fair, like. You have to like get it perfect too. This fair was good if it was a hard fair. I would just practice and exercise. You get the fair anyways, but if they DI'd well, they could have probably gotten out of this situation and maybe recovered on you. But
yeah.
So I would just play exercise. Do you Uncle Punch at all?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, I would just practice that Uncle Punch. Like exercise is really, really underrated. It just lets you hit hard moves every time, and sometimes that's like literally the difference between game over or not. Okay, that was fine to like escape invincibility. There's nothing really bad with that. You're in the corner. You get a shield grab, and that's fine. It was on jab too. A lot of the times on jab, you can actually just up smash a shield if you expect it. It's a pretty common way to deal with it. At this percent, obviously, it's not great to get an up smash, but at the same time, you just get free damage and you're in the lead, so there's really nothing wrong with free damage. Whereas getting a shield grab is sometimes harder a lot of the times, and it's easier to bait out too. I don't really know why you drifted all the way back here. Sheik's fair cannot cover here. Maybe you thought she could jump on stage? Was that the situation?
I think I mistimed my back air because I was trying to back air.
Okay. So on that situation, essentially when Sheik is in the cornered, you don't really want to backer her because if she's at a percent that backer knocks down, like let's say it's 45, she's just gonna hold down and then snap the ledge. It's very, very common in high percent too for them to just eat the back air and then just go to ledge and then try again, and it's just not good. So when Sheik is cornered, you always want to grab. That is your number one goal, is to try and grab her. Whereas if she's going to jump, then you can get the up air reads, and then you're like, wow, that's even better than the grab. So it's when she gets cornered, just try and grab her. Don't try and back her overall. Okay, you kind of just get out of the corner for free because she just lets you. That's whatever. That was another situation about knockdown percents. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up. This is perfect time. So sharking Sheik is about how much time do you have to actually shark. This applies to a lot of characters too, but especially against Sheik, if you don't have time to shark her correctly. So right here, if you jumped higher, I think if you just read her going to the platforms here initially, you could have caught her, but you run out of time. After you miss the first up air here, you do not have time to get another up air. So after that situation, what I would do instead of doing this up air is I would try and go onto the platform and attack her from the side. The reason why that is because it's very hard, especially when she's in the middle of the platform, for her to directly punish you with needles or a fair, because she has to run off to get the fair, and then she has to like do an insane like short hop and try and like needle here, and then like most of the time you're gonna be attacking her from this position, so you're gonna jump and then back her here like in this range, and she's not gonna be able to hit that. She'll be able to hit like this. So if you attack her from the sides when she's on top platform with the intention to try and either falling up air, so like do the back air here, she shield drops, and then you falling up air her in this zone, similar to like what I was talking about on the right side here. It's the same exact situation, but just on the top platform instead of the side platform, is very good. Or if she continues to stay up there and she doesn't shield, then you do the back air, and if it whiffs or something like that, you can just try and up air her, and then sometimes they'll jump too. And then you can just, if it misses, you can just go to the platform, and then just you're fine, because she cannot hit you with shield drop forward air here too if you drift out of the range. So it's like, you always want to attack from the sides if you do not have time, is the overall thing. And you don't want her to sneak under you. So you want to try and get a falling up air to avoid her sneaking under you. Sometimes she'll run to the other side platform, and that's perfectly fine, because you can just keep drifting after doing the first back air. Let's say she runs off the side platform when you do the first back air. You can just drift and then just punish her going to the other platform with a back air, similar to when you're on this platform trying to jump at Sheik capping you. So that's like essentially how the sharking goes. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, you're too far away, so you get needled. See, you actually do aerial crouch here, which is perfect. It's crazy. I think this is the only time I've seen you do aerial crouch in the entire games. It's great. Obviously, if you're holding crouch the entire time, you could have got the rest, but
yeah,
that's fine. You get the pound, but like it's whatever. It's like, again, I don't like the pound at all, but it worked, so it's like it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. Against forward air, since you didn't have time to actually directly, you could have maybe, if you didn't get hit by needles here, you could have maybe done a forward air to try and snipe her out. You actually spot dodge preemptively, which I'm not really sure why. Do you think this was like tech flub, or do you think this was intentional?
Oh, I thought he was gonna forward her, then run up grab.
Okay, so how do I phrase this? So when you were trying to spot dodge as buff, you have to like think, it's kind of like the full hop. You have to set it up in advance, because spot dodge is terrible, but it's also leads into a one-hit kill move. So that's why spot dodge is good in that sense. So if you're gonna like predict a grab, I would just always crouch. But obviously, since forward air loses the crouch, what I would do here instead is I would probably just wave dash back here, and then if Sheik runs up crouches, then I'm still crouched. But if she does this forward air here, I can potentially do a forward smash on her forward air, or ideally, if I haven't set up grab enough, I can just tomahawk grab or wave dash grab and just do that instead. You don't really do wave dash forward smash, but when you're next to Sheik and she's jumped into the air, you can kind of mindlessly click forward smash on her descent almost all the time, because especially if she's facing the wrong way to you, it's very, very good to do. Okay, this is fine. Nothing's bad here. I like that. I like this back air a lot. That you do right here. This was a good back air because you space it correctly and you're still in range to like make something happen, but you're actually still out of range of forwarder if she tried to just forwarder directly. But you go back into the range with a shield, which doesn't really make sense. What I would have done here is that you could have hard red Sheik jumping and just done an up air, which would have been really good. That would have been like next level for sure. Which makes a lot of sense because Sheik's in shield, and a lot of the times they're gonna jump out of shield. Like I was saying, there's not many options Sheik has when she's in shield. She either spot dodge, roll, jump, and she can like wave dash out of shield, which is another common one. But even if she wave dash out of shield here, if you went for an up air read, it's not the end of the world. Like I was saying, whenever you're higher than Sheik is a lot of the time, you have to like land on the side platform, or you can land in the corner, but the corner is worse than the side platform generally. So that would be the only downside of up airing and missing the read, like the wave dash out of shielding. But it's not the end of the world. Whereas going for that up air is pretty good. It's like not the best because Sheik's at 75, but it would have hit, and then you would have been able to shark her because you had enough time, because she had been very high in the air. Then you could have set up a shark sequence. Getting off the ledge here was a little bit awkward. I think you just messed up with this fair, but regardless, just always turn around back air versus Sheik when you're recovering, because even if Sheik shields your turnaround back air, she can't do anything out of shield, like I was saying. So in the only situation she gets anything is if you do a high Nair on shield and she gets a Nair, or if you do a very, very bad like fade in back air, she can get a shield grab. And those are the only two situations. And then sometimes you can actually aerial crouch her shielding on the ground here and get a shield and get a rest on the grab. This was good. You were in the position already to actually punish Sheik on the platform, which is perfect. Don't let her get anything started here. You drift out, which is great. You could have maybe jumped a little bit faster before the drift out, and you would have been able to punish Sheik here. But it's not bad. You actually just played great here, so it's fine. That was a good back air to call out her dashing in. Great back air there. Sheik on the corner again. See how you even get in the corner. You go for some Hail Mary up smash here. So when she gets a higher percent, I would just drill almost all the time. Drill is just OP versus high percent Sheik, because like I was saying earlier, when Sheik gets a 70%, you can literally just do downer into rest, and it's so good. She has to get into the tumble animation at 70, but when she gets in the higher percents, you can just either drill into grab, and then throw her off stage, and then just set up the Edgeguard sequence, and then get the kill that way. Or you can, maybe I forgot to say this on the Edgeguarding sequence, but when she's like in the situation where you didn't babysit her, or she has the option to go to ledge, there's some specific sequences. If you just spam the Edgeguard sequence enough in your games, like the get up from ledge and then rest, you'll figure out when she can essentially go to ledge. But most of the time it's when she's above the ledge and she's very close, or you didn't babysit her. It's usually one of the two situations where she can go to ledge and you cannot Edgeguard her and she's going to snap. You just roll in that situation. If she's going to snap to ledge after you go for the get up, you just roll, and that covers the snap to ledge, unless you were not invincible though. So that was just a caveat on that.
Okay.
But yeah, you lost that situation, got put in the corner because you up smashed when she was at like 90, which just doesn't kill. So that was just like a risk reward thing. Generally, like up smash is just like not good in this matchup unless it's draw up smash, or up smash has shield on like jab. That's pretty much it. So let's see. That was fine. I think you just didn't trust that you could actually hit this backer. Yeah, I don't think you just trusted in it. I feel like you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way in.
Yeah, if you just trust, sometimes that's a Jigglypuff thing where you have to trust that your move will hit or you won't hit it. It's similar to when you're edgeguarding space animals and you're like, I need to get this back air, and you just drift full in to get it on their Firefox or something. It's very similar in neutral a lot of the time, where you have to full drift in sometimes, even though you don't want to, or you're not going to get the hit. And then if you, let's say you get the hit and you weren't full drifting in, then you're not going to get the follow-up. So a lot of times in Puff, it's about confidence in these situations, but yeah. So I don't think you get Edgeguard in this game. I don't think you get Edgeguard in any of the games because I don't think Lou is that good on that situation. But in terms of recovering, maybe it'll happen right here. No, Lou's not that good on the edgeguarding sequence. So when Sheik, we're gonna start from here. Sheik in this situation is going to try and back air you because you were higher than her, and that is pretty much the entire reason. When you are above Sheik or level with Sheik, Sheik is going to want to back air because her back air covers a much larger range than her forward air does. Her forward air covers this range, so if you're lower than Sheik, Sheik is going to want to forward air you. So that's essentially what is the edgeguard sequence for Sheik on you. So to beat everything, it's essentially most of the time you drift with her because she's going to want to turn around when she's facing you to get the back air if you're above her still. So don't go this high though, because this gives them the option to up air, and up air is horrible for you. Up air is like the only way you lose games quickly. So just don't go too high. Just go level with Sheik is the best way to do it. You start level, keep drifting in, and then let's assume Lou does not do this random forward air here. Let's assume Lou is trying to back air you in the spot. When you see the back air come out, you start to go to ledge, so you can avoid the back air in general. You go off stage and then to the ledge, because the only way to hit the ledge is with the forward air. You cannot hit the ledge with a back air unless you like jump off stage with the back air, and in that case they've given up so much space that you could probably even pound them before the back air comes out and kill them that way, which is a lot of Sheiks. Sometimes they'll be very, very lazy with their edgeguard, and they'll just try and be over here, and in that situation you can kind of pound them a lot of the time and just reverse them for trying to edgeguard you poorly. So in general, like when you're recovering, just look at what Sheik is doing and where she is facing. So that means what her option is, essentially. Some fast Sheiks will try and needle turnaround, and then they'll try and bait you that way, and then becomes almost as a read on how you should recover, whereas most Sheiks, it's a reaction. So it's very easy to just like take a lot of damage when recovering if you don't really like look at what Sheik is doing and pay attention. But yeah, that's like pretty much what I had to talk about with Sheik. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like looking over my notes. Like there's like some micro situations that were in the other games, but like honestly, this matchup there's gonna be so many like really dumb scramble situations. And that was a good grab. That you just need to get the macro stuff down. And that's very important in melee in general, but especially against Sheik, it's very like just chip damage matchup and just like trying to get your like big openers with your crouch setups or your up air setups. But a lot of times you're probably just going to be killing with a back air, sending them off stage, and then grabbing ledge and then doing the edgeguard set sequence.
Yeah, I was really wondering also about Nair in this matchup.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. So how you use Nair, let me pull up Hbox using Nair. I didn't get a clip of this, but I do know a good set. So how I use Nair and how Hbox uses Nair is when you're facing Sheik, you don't have much options. So instead of doing a turnaround back air, you can just try and Nair. But the problem with Nair a lot of the time is that you have to be facing Sheik. That's the first start. You cannot do a backwards Nair to really hit Sheik. Let me close this for a second. Okay, this is a good Nair. So what will happen with Sheik Pup is that you're both going to be facing each other is the prerequisite to pulling out Nair. And it's either going to beat a late fair, or you're going to use it to punish Sheik jumping, or you're going to beat the early fair. So beating the early fair means hitting the jump. Most of the time, though, you do not want to be level with Sheik when you do a Nair. You want to be above Sheik. That's a general rule for Nair in general, but especially against Sheik. The only reason Hbox won here is because he was trying to beat late forwarder. So Nair is very good, especially at low damage, because you can combo it into a grab, but Hbox drifts full in and Dreffin just goes nowhere because he was very high in the air. So he was trying to Nair up till cheese, but That's not really a real thing. Just try and go for Nair grab at like 0, because they'll Sakurai angle, and then it'll be a true grab. So that's what I would do. So basically, it's a zoning tool, and it's used when both players are looking at each other. So that's like the times you use Nair. Do not use it just like brain dead like recover, because that doesn't really follow any of the rules of what I was saying over here. Because Nair is so like laggy in the sense that it's a reactable move, because you have to do it off a full hop when you're off stage. So it's like it's easy for the Sheik to even like, if they're the worst edgeguarders in the world, to hit you with a back air for doing a Nair. Because Sheik's back air owns Jigglypuff's Nair. It's horrible. So just remember, when you're using Nair, they have to be looking at each other. So, because it's very, very hard to even make it work if you're not looking at each other. Let me pull up the game again. I think Nair's not the best. Like, I would rather be facing Sheik and back airing, but at the same time, you can also forward air in those spots, and it's like kind of the same as Nair. But Nair is I don't know, it's like still like situationally good. To beat crouch as well, it was kind of, it's similar to the way that you beat shield, because again the Sheik didn't crouch at all in this set, but you just like, most of the time you get behind them, like I was saying with the shield, you get behind them and grab, and then if you force enough grab mix-ups, then you can forward smash, or you can up air, read the jumps, or you can just wait, or you can land in front of them and then they'll spot dodge and you can just jump and rest. That's a pretty common setup too. Down air is very, very good versus crouch. You can just down air above 45%, I'm pretty sure, around there. And then and it doesn't true combo into rest yet, like I was saying at 70. But if you do down air on their crouch, they have to usually, sometimes they'll do the stupid down smash like they've done in so many of these games so far. So they'll either do that so you can crouch, cancel rest that, or if they're above 45, you can just down air, and they should, if they're good, they should do a spot dodge or a roll, because if you're actually doing it correctly, you can grab them before they down smash. So there's that. Okay. So it has frame advantage essentially above 45. So they will spot dodge or roll, and most of the time they'll spot dodge. You can just jump and rest. Their spot dodge. That's a common sequence against crouch. But that was a good up smash. They could have jabbed, but it was more of a recognition that they were slow, so it's fine. See, that's what I was talking about with Nair just being so bad against back air.
Yeah, I can see.
Just horrible. Darn. So you weren't in a position to actually get this yet. Most of the time, Sheik won't be able to actually hit this. So you could have just drifted to the platform here. That would have been good, because they're going to hit the arc like this, not hit it like this. So this was fine, but the problem here is that you were drifting too far out of that range. You weren't staying next to Sheik. So this is a good range, But then you drift all the way out here, and you haven't hit Sheik. If you hit Sheik here, this was a fine drift out, because then Sheik would be in a little bit of lag, and then Sheik would just be starting to run at you, because that's just what they do. But the fact that Sheik was in no lag at all means this was really bad, because you're out of the range. And then you didn't space this correctly, so you just get hit. And it would have been hard to space this regardless, though, because I think if you tried to space it correctly, you'd have probably just gotten shield. It would have probably just been shielded, or it would have just been crouched again, or just run up even further, I mean. So you just get down tilted, because again, wasn't really thinking about the percents and the drift again, but it's fine. I think you actually somehow win this game too. Yeah, oh, never mind. That pound was not good. Same pounds I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yep.
This is good play in the corner. I like this. You're just way dashing around. Solid. You actually did get an opportunity to escape the corner if you way dash crosser up there.
Yeah.
That would have been really good.
That's so scary.
Oh my god. I thought you won this game, but you actually did win the game right here. Just jumped.
Yeah, I should have rested right there.
Yeah.
But you know what?
There is never a reason to up air on the side platforms. That's like pretty much a rule of thumb almost all the time. When you have like, when you're going for a pound like this, just always expect them to miss the tech first until they show they can hit the tech, and then just jump in. react to the
Okay.
mistech, and then just rest. Just don't up air here. Just like doesn't make any sense. This happens a lot in every matchup, but obviously you miss the rest. That's gonna happen. It's more of a recognition thing, but yeah, I am looking at my notes and I have like that was like everything in one game. So
Yeah, it's actually all the questions I wanted to ask you for like the game as well.
yeah.
You actually got all of them.
So what else do you want to talk about?
It was more so. Hold on, let me look it up because I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. Oh, practicing. Like, how do you practice? Like, what is like your routine? I just really need to know how to practice because when I started off playing, I had like things I would do that would just help me move. Like a bunch of edge canceling stuff. Like I would just like practice 20-25 minutes just on movement, but never really on like situations. I'm not really good at practicing for situations.
So I will say to that I will be releasing a lesson that's a little more dedicated to that, but in general, for just me in particular, I focus on 1 to 3 things to practice. So I'll spend like, right now I would probably spend around a half hour max, but when I was like very new, I would spend like an hour maximum. Sometimes I would spend more, but I learned as I got better that quality is better than quantity, so don't spend too long practicing. So I would practice for like an hour on literally just up throw, tech chase, rest, if that was what I was focusing on. And I would just spend an hour doing that. I would just like rotate the stages around. And I would just do that knuckle punch, because knuckle punch is just the goat. But right now, like if I'm just practicing maintenance tech skill, I would just spend like 20 30 minutes. I load up knuckle punch. And then if I'm trying to practice my movement, I would just do exercise, because that forces you to have correct movement always. So I would do exercise for movement. I would go into combo training, but not really like try and combo the Fox or whatever. I would just load it up to Fox, and then I would just practice tomahawk grabbing, because that's like probably the one biggest thing to ever practice, is to always make sure that's perfect. You want to make sure it's like your fastball timing is perfect, your act out of weight is perfect. So I would literally just tomahawk grab a Fox over and over again. I'd mix up whether I'm like landing in front of them or behind them, turn arounding or not. And then I would just also, that's like probably the only things I would really do for maintenance. Sometimes I just do a friendly as my maintenance, but I would probably still prefer doing solo practice most of the time over that. But yeah, that's like basically maintenance. Like, cause sometimes I mix in like doing up throw, tech chase, rest as maintenance too, because that's almost as important as those other ones. But that's like maintenance. I think I didn't see that high L cancel rates in your game, so I would also just practice like in the L cancel thing, just practice L canceling, because I would say the floor of the L canceling should be like 85%, and I think that was your peak in these games. So I would just practice L canceling to get like all your like worst L canceling days to be 85. And if you just like look into your games and just sort of pick a random game from that day and see like 50%, then you just need to just go back and just like grind L cancels the next day a lot.
My L cancel data is actually really skewed too, because sometimes I just like randomly edge cancel. Like I just do it a lot just to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't edge cancel. I don't L cancel my edge cancel moves, because like I act immediately out of it because the edge cancel. So my numbers always look kind of bad. Yeah, I just throughout my matchup, that's just what I do. I
actually am not sure if that counts in the Slippy launcher. I don't know the data on that. In my head, it shouldn't count because it's not an L cancel situation, but
it did not, because you pop up as red if you have like the L cancel thing anyways.
True, maybe it doesn't count, but I do know that based on the games, you didn't have enough edge cancels in them to make it sure. So that like I saw 65% in there. There was definitely not enough edge cancels to make up for that for sure. But
okay,
that's how I practice right now. But like I was talking about, like my lesson from the other day, like if you want to understand exactly. But yeah, I was talking about 3 things.
I also had a question about like pressure, like mental pressure and stuff. Like how do you like handle like pressure of being expected to win, and yeah, like just in general, like high stress situations.
So I think that there's an underlying like reason of why you play the game, and why I play the game is to be the not be the best, but I want to be top 50 right now, because you always have to think about your goal in mind, not about the result. So unless you're result oriented, because that's fine too. Like if your goal in the game, the underlying goal is to like get top 8 at the nightclub, then obviously winning that particular set, that there's pressure there, because you're setting your pressure on yourself almost, because that's your underlying goal. So I always just think about why I'm playing, and I'm like, one tournament doesn't matter really, and that basically takes off a load of my pressure. Also, whenever I notice that I am getting pressured, that I'm feeling like, you know, I'm the set is slipping away. Let's say you're up 2-0 on like someone, like literally the biggest example right now is I played Ben the other day and I was up 2-0 and I was like, I lose a game and I'm like, dang, that sucks. I'll lose another game and I'm like, oh my god, I can't let this set, because I was thinking about the win. That's like the worst part. You can't really think about the win because you always want to have a winning mindset in Melee. You don't want to think about I'm scared to lose, because that's horrible. That is horrible. I don't want to lose is way worse than saying I want to win. So, but the problem is you can't think about winning at all, because the thing about I'm scared to lose is that the worst thing that happens, the absolute worst, you just always got to think about that, of losing a set is like maybe get made fun of on Twitter or Melee Online general chat, and like who actually cares like what happens about that. It's just like really dumb. Whereas like the worst thing that can happen, I mean the best thing that can happen if you win is like maybe you get like praised on Twitter, or maybe you get like 5 followers for winning a set. And I'm like, it just like doesn't, there's like, it doesn't really matter, because like at the end of the day you're trying to like improve as a player and like make that a consistent thing, whereas like the result doesn't matter. I also this does also come up in my lessons the other day, but there's more stuff on it. But again, I would also just take deep breaths as well when you notice that you're getting to that point, and like take like breaks between stocks or like in between the games, just so you can like recompose yourself, because it's like very easy if you do not like try and like take a breath or whatever to not get in the right zone.
I've been playing competitive games for like a long ass time, but the difference with like this game is how seen you are. It's like, if I lose, like I got like that one big win, right? And then like I started not being an underdog anymore, and now like every time I play someone like I'm supposed to beat, like people talk about it, like, and you feel it. You're like, oh, I'm supposed to beat this person, right? So like it's kind of in the back of your mind, and it like I just I've been having trouble dealing with that, because if it's someone that I'm not supposed to beat, like I could go really close to beating really good players. Like Just Jason, I've been last stock with him plenty of times. Same thing as Smuckers. But like if it's someone I'm supposed to beat, like round 1, those are my hardest games every tournament. It's always round 1, because like, oh, I'm supposed to beat this. So like I kind of like play down to my opponent.
Yeah. I was literally just thinking that. Like I've struggled with that too. But you just gotta remember that like to get to those opponents that like you know that you can play your best at, because if you just play at their level, you have to like put effort into the early matches. You can't just like play brain dead and just be like, you know what, this guy's losing to my Nair grab over and over again, I'm just gonna spam it and just go for like something that will never work against like Captain Smuckers. And it's just like, it's just never, because that's how you get into the nervous situations, because you played bad on purpose. And it's like you should never play bad on purpose in Melee, unless it's conditioning. Like if you just don't punish a Sheik for jumping out of shield until you do it on the last stock of the game, like Hbox has done multiple times to people, then that's different than playing bad on purpose, because you're like, this person's not that good. And you're not thinking that inherently. You're just like, subconsciously, you're like, I don't need to try. And that's just...
Yeah. Alright, I was just making sure I wasn't like crazy. I'm glad that you also kind of had an experience with that like earlier, because I'm like, oh no, I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much it though. I really appreciate it. Like I've learned a lot. I recorded everything, so I'm just gonna like watch it over probably in like 10-minute increments, because it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then just like write down a few notes each time. Because there was like a lot of information.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend watching it multiple times, but I'm glad you enjoyed.